What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Obsession. I'm Carl Bepke.
I'm Mike Stadler.
Mike!
Carl?
You know, August here, late August. Man, I'm telling you, a couple weeks, we're going to be in SD.
South Dakotas.
Mule deer tags.
I'm ready. I am so ready. I am so ready.
And antelope.
And arrows. Speedy
A
goats.
couple nice looking speedy goats right over there.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Hopefully we can add some more.
Hopefully. All right, we got a pretty good question here from one of our listeners, Mr. Scott McCabe.
Scotty M.
Yep, Scotty M. Scotty asked, can you guys do a show about leeward and windward buck movement? And what is better for hunting big bucks? What variables affect this? Cover wind speed when you're on the top. So basically he's talking about the wind speed if you're hunting up top. Also talk about the top third, the center, and the bottom third of ridges and how you hunt them. Holy cow, Scott.
Christ, how much time we got?
Jeez, dude. I'm like, okay. I can't tell you how to hunt your property, you already know. Alright. Well, let's talk about, leeward and windward, okay? So, depending on which direction the wind is coming. So, the windward side is the side that the wind is coming at first. And the leeward is the back side of the ridge where the ridge drops off down. Leaving. That's a better way to say it.
Leaving.
Much better.
Yep.
Leaving. So, that's leeward and windward.
Yep. Now show that.
Now that you know that part of it, let's talk about, congratulations. Did you find a saddle at the top of the ridge? Number one. Let's talk about there's a lot to this question. Windward side. So let's just say if I'm, number one, hunting in the mornings. Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
So, are you just on top of the ridge?
We're gonna, for this instance, we're gonna take the very top of the ridge. So like,
okay,
hunting here at your place.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah. So if I'm hunting at the top of the ridge,
Okay.
this is, in this particular area here, a morning hunt only.
Okay.
Thermals are involved.
Yep. I don't care what the wind is.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the honest truth.
Yes, I don't care.
Yeah.
Until
About 9:30.
Then I care.
And things get real. You have to be able to get in and out of that. Okay? Let's just say we got a 10 or 15 mile an hour wind. It's November. And we're hunting the top of the ridge. Do I like the leeward or the windward side? Well, depends on what the deer movement is. So if the deer movement is across the ridge, I want to be on the leeward side of it, blowing my scent out away from where the deer are moving. Because if I'm on the windward side, I'm blowing it right into their nose. 100%.
Right.
I used to hunt a ridge in the evenings that I could get up to. Of course, if the wind died, thermals were involved. But I would always hunt the leeward side of that ridge with the wind, blowing my scent out away from, or out over the top of the deer if they were below me, or away from the upper edge movement. Now that was either if I was on the top third or the very top of the ridge.
Yeah, because you're at the end of it anyway.
Correct.
So, if you're set up in the right spot, the deer shouldn't be coming from beyond that leeward area anyway.
Correct.
Or they're not supposed to be, or you shouldn't be there.
Yeah. But you blew them out coming in.
Right.
Yes. So there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
So the killing ridge across the road from my place, we hunted that in the evenings. But you would hunt the top third of it, usually.
Yeah.
And if for some reason deer were to get below you, so the way this ridge was, part of it I couldn't hunt, other parts of it I could. If the deer were to circle down below and come below me, even with the thermals, my scent was above them. And then I would also hunt the lower third where I had food plots. So the kill corridor is what I called it. You guys seen plenty of hunts from that over the years. You can check them out, on our playlist, just hunts. But basically, that particular spot, I was hunting the thermals. So you have to remember, if you're on the leeward side of a hill, and you have a fairly large amount of wind, or let's just say 10 miles an hour and above, what happens is, if this is the hillside, the winds come across the top of the hillside, and just like a wing on an aircraft or whatever, it creates turbulence and it circles back around. If you're down here and there's too much wind, you're going to actually see or feel the wind at your back is going to push that scent up the ridge. That's why those deer set in that top third of that ridge, because they can pick up and scent anything below them on a leeward side. If you're on a windward side of a ridge, you can't hunt down on the bottom third either, because it's blowing the scent right up the ridge to where they are anyway. So there you go. That's a tough evening hunt no matter how you look at it, right? Unless you know the thermals and how they drop. So that's that part. Hunting in the middle of the ridge, same deal.
Yeah,
Depending on what location, whether you're in the upper half of the half or the lower half of the half, which you have to experiment and document and figure out where you can sit, where you can't sit. I never hunt in the middle of ridges usually.
Yeah, and it all comes back to, where are the deer transitioning from?
Or two.
Yep. So are you there in the morning? Are they, where is their bedding that they're going back to?
Yes.
Or if you're there in the evening, where's the food that they're going to? And that, that's tough.
It is tough. There's a lot involved with that. Scott's question.
It's at every property the wind is different. Especially at your place, at your house, where we used to hunt over there where the bowl was.
Yes.
That one was always weird in there.
Yeah.
So you could hunt it, but you had to hunt it different. It didn't matter what the wind was, it's what it did there.
Yeah. You physically had to get in there to see what was happening on most of them.
And it's no different here or at your house. The winds in different parts of my property and your property are different when you get in there.
Yep. So his big question is basically leeward and windward buck movement, and what is better for hunting big bucks? Well, leeward and windward buck movement.
I don't
Bucks in general.
think there's such a thing
I don't
of that
disagree with your statement.
that kind of movement myself. It's
I think his question is that he's asking percentage-wise, do I think that you would see more bucks on the windward side or leeward side depending on, wind direction?
well,
Well, there's too many variables. I can't really say that because we're the does if
Right.
you're hunting during a certain time period. In general, I'll tell you this. In general, bucks. People get the idea that bucks always want the wind in their face. That is not correct.
they don't always.
No. Well, majority of the time they don't. They're going to run perpendicular. They'll move perpendicular to the wind.
When the bucks are threatened or bucks leave an area is when the wind is in their face, always.
Oh yeah.
Or does.
Yeah, because they want to know where they're
They
going.
want to know where they're going.
Yeah.
So
I don't believe that a buck consistently moves into the wind because I know they can't.
we watch them not do it. They can't do it all the time. It's not possible. You can't just get out and I'm walking this way the whole time. It's not going to happen. You got to turn. You got to move around things.
There's been plenty of times when I've seen deer walking into the wind, and then I've seen bigger deer walking the same time, not 30 minutes later, the exact opposite direction.
They're not threatening them.
No, they're not.
Okay.
So if they're not educated,
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
The bigger thing, the leeward and winds and the things that'll get you more, in my opinion, is a swirling wind from
Inconsistency.
inconsistencies in wind, not knowing exactly where it's coming from or where it's going.
that being your scent,
Yes.
whether it be windward or leeward, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
If you know where they are, majority of the time, where they're transitioning to, whether it be food or bed, because that's how you hunt them. It is how you hunt them.
Well, right there, that's the perfect statement. So here, look, the statement that Mike's basically saying right there is, you need to know what your deer are doing.
Yeah.
So, if it's the pre-rut, and I know bucks are going to want to be, searching some of my doe bedding areas, which are below some of my favorite stands, which are at the top 3/4, or, basically a third down from the top of the ridge. If the bedding's below me, I know those bucks are going to be moving below that. They're going to want the wind coming up the ridge. Well, I'm sitting behind that movement. That's where I want to be.
Right.
So I'm on the windward side at that point. But if I'm expecting deer to be traveling across the top of the ridge and I know there's bedding on the opposite side, so let's just say the does are bedded on top, okay, and the wind's coming across that ridge like this, I want to be on the leeward side in that situation because those bucks are going to work that edge on the downwind side for them, but it's also the leeward side for me to put their movement between me and where they think their does are going to be. And it's the same with food. You set yourself up the same way all the way around. I mean, I hope that makes sense to people. You want their movement between you and what they're most interested in. Today, the stand we just set, that's going to be a perfect set for that. Because the bedding's right there in front of us.
So that stand we were just talking about putting up here, we're going to call this the fallback stand. Because it's on our fallback bedding area. So, but not super high, I don't know, 12 feet maybe, ish. But this is the start of all this fallback bedding. Probably maybe a little bit right here, but it mostly starts from this stand on. And then just over this top is where we thicken this whole edge. This car could go back and show you the footage when we did that in the spring, but this was just something we thought about a couple weeks back. I think we were talking about maybe popping up in here, especially once these leaves start falling off. You'll really be able to see our bottom trail where they transition a lot. And this undergrowth has gotten so thick up here, you'll be able to call those bucks up to this top. Just down from here, about 60 yards is where we put that habitat pocket in last year. Trees didn't do so well, but the pocket is still there. A couple of the trees are good. We have a water hole, probably 75, 80 yards down. Actually, probably both ends of this. This is kind of right in the middle. So like I said, is our fallback bedding, east-west trail, is where the camera's sitting, where Carl is. This will be a nice morning, easy in, right off our trail. So stick around for the fall. Baby!
But it's also, and we don't hunt like in the middle of any of those.
No.
We're on the top side.
Yep.
Or on the bottom side of it, because you can dictate your wind direction then.
Yep.
Because when you get tied up in the middle, your property is even worse than mine because
Yes.
it has more transition.
Yep.
But we have pretty good transition here too. But if you get yourself tied up in the center, is when you get your swirls
Yep.
and you get your downdrafts
Hence
and
why
updrafts.
hence why we've pulled all the stands out of the hole.
We've learned.
Yeah.
So we pull those stands out and we don't hunt them anymore because, and I'm not saying you can't be successful with one of them, but you are limiting your odds because you're putting yourself in a bad situation
Yeah,
for deer to win,
100%.
especially big bucks.
Yeah.
So
You
we
want
try to hunt below and above them
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
you have to hunt that
and
way.
use the transition and direct deer how we want them to go. This is why we do the things we do, because we know we're in a losing situation if we're on your side hill.
No, yeah.
You're not going to win that.
You're not winning that.
So and here, you're not going to win it.
Nope.
Like the one stand I have that's on a side hill-ish
Ish.
is flyer, but the stand is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because main trail ends it, big thick bedding out to the west of it. They can't get behind you.
Nope.
So, and they don't come from behind you.
Yep.
They're already dropped down on the trail because of how they go,
Yep.
or they're coming out in front of you at the bedding. You never see deer come from over top on you on that stand. I don't.
I have never.
So that's why that's on a kind of a side hill, but it's still almost at the very bottom of that trail. It's only up just a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the closest one that we have here. You know,
Yep.
you have some of the stands we have in your property that are very similar, that they might be up just a bit,
Yeah.
but not much.
Yeah. The highest stand we got this year, unless you're at the very top of the ridge at my place, is the cherry. Everything else has been eliminated
Yeah.
because we know
And-
that if we get in that bowl.
And we funneled them to that though.
No, right. Yeah, we
Because-
created. Yes, we spent a lot of time creating.
Because otherwise the stand don't work. It's
Yeah.
great deer, great stand to see deer out of.
Yeah, oh
You
yeah.
see big deer out of.
Yeah, but you're not gonna. Yeah,
You can't kill them.
no. No, they're gonna work around you.
Yeah,
It's too
and they
much-
do.
They won't this year.
They will not.
Nope. No, they're gonna end up on the wall.
They will.
Yes.
Yeah, so that, you know, like you said, your properties are different. Every property is different. You just got to know your movement. You know, we know our movement. You know, and then we confirm that with our cameras, and by what we see, we document it, watch it.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're sitting, you know, Scott, we talk all the time.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in different stands, you really got to be adamant about paying attention to what deer do, what your wind does there. Like I know we do,
Yeah.
because we'll come over here and I'll be like, I get you in this stand, but you can't get in that stand in the morning because I know it says north, but it's not really north. It's
Right.
really west there.
Yep.
You know, and the deer are coming from there, and you know that. So you can't always trust. You know?
Yeah. If the weatherman says the wind's west at my place, well, when you get onto the
what?
property,
That don't mean anything at your place.
yeah, it could be straight north,
Yeah.
just because of the valley and the way that air moves through the valley. So you know you have to educate yourself on all of that. You know, now if you're asking questions about, you know, do we see more bucks moving on the leeward or the windward side?
I don't see any difference.
Depends on what the buck is going to be thinking that particular day. You can't designate the habits of a certain deer. He changes his mind just like we change our mind.
More.
Probably more.
Because he's in survival mode
Yeah.
95% of his life.
Yeah. You know, first 2 weeks of bow season, them duck deer are probably pretty predictable. As long as you don't educate them going in.
True.
I do know your area, Scott, which, you know, you and I talk. You and I talk all the time. You know, if you start seeing a buck do a certain thing repetitively, and you know you've got your stand set for it, which you sent me some pictures already, then I know that's standard. That's the way I look at it. I don't believe that a deer picks the windward side or the leeward side according to wind speed, according to exact wind direction, and here's why. Because just like us, they vary. You know, our deer are creatures of habit in general,
Mostly.
but that's only because of food and bed.
Yep.
It's not because of the wind. Don't fool yourself.
They're slave their stuff.
That's the human aspect taking over.
Well, Scott, we know Scott.
Yeah.
Scott shoots big deer
He does.
every year.
Every year, yeah, he
And,
does well.
Scott's like us, so he's trying to overthink. He's trying to think he can put himself in a better spot. You can't do it, Scott. You know better. You already are successful because Carl and I do this every year. We're like, stop overthinking everything.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like these stands work and the way we do things work for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, trying to hunt, you know, don't reinvent trying to hunt your property when you already know it.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's just-
your property's set up really well, Scott. I think, you know, the two new stands that you showed me, I think, dude, you're going to be more than successful there. Just, you know, hunt the higher percentage of the two there, or hunt the higher percentage of the stands on your property. You know,
Well, it's, you know, all of it comes down to everything that, you know, we preach about all the time. It's, you know, knowing your movement, knowing your entries, knowing your exits, watching your wind, you know, staying out of areas that you shouldn't be in until you should be there. I mean, it's pressure.
Yeah.
It really is. It's all the same. It doesn't change throughout the year.
No,
It gets tighter as the year goes on.
pretty much.
You know.
Yeah. And if you want to shoot a buck early, then, you know, do what you need to do, but don't overpressure your situation. Watch your entry and exit. So, hopefully, Scott, that answered your question. Hopefully, the rest of you got a little bit out of it, talking about windward and leeward, and what we think percentage-wise, on hunting either one of those. Deer are creatures of habit, but basically they're creatures of habit due to food and bed. Not so much, paying a close attention. Does a deer travel perpendicular because that's his best advantage? It's probably more the human aspect of thinking that. They will do it once they're pressured. But just like anything else, each animal has its own mind and makes its decisions.
Yeah, buddy.
Randomly. We appreciate you guys asking the questions, Scott. If you guys want to check out or subscribe to the channel, hit the Reaper in the lower right-hand corner. If you want to listen to the podcast, check us out at Spotify,
RSS.com,
Google,
Apple,
iHeart,
Amazon.
Check our pretty faces out right here at YouTube. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Yeah, buddy.